Hey wonderful people, it's Mark here from Not Defining. Thank you so much for being here. You are so welcome. This is just a place where we get together and talk about our identities, talk about sexuality, gender, relationships, self-confidence, mental health, and loads more so that we can all find our best self, however we define whatever our label. So today, I just want to talk a bit about a part of my identity which I have come to very recently. And it's really only in the last kind of year or two that I have really discovered my asexuality. Well, some people might be thinking to themselves, well, asexuality, doesn't that mean that you're not interested in sex or, you don't have attraction? And I guess 100% asexuality would mean that, and it does for some people. But just like the bi plus spectrum, the ace plus spectrum is a really broad definition. It's a broad identity, and it can be really helpful to kind of have words that mirror our own lived experience. And there are a lot of people who are on the bi and ace spectrums together. So that's what I want to say first, is that I am ace and I am also bi. The way that works for me, and again, this is something I've come to fairly recently, is that I can be attracted to anyone of any gender. Yeah, so the gender doesn't matter to me. I don't limit myself in that way. But the extent to which I am attracted tends to be quite low. And it tends to work in a bit of a different way to what most kind of allosexual or sexual people do. Okay, so I first thought that, okay, well, I'm just bisexual, right? So, and I even came to that quite late. But in essence, when I was growing up, what I really experienced was queerness, I guess, in its broad sense. I just didn't connect with other human beings in the normative way, in the way that I was expected to, and so I thought, okay, well, at first, that makes me gay, and then I was like, well, I'm not gay, because I kind of realized that being with guys wasn't everything for me. And then I kind of realized, well, with girls it's not 100% fulfilling, but guys it's not 100% fulfilling. And bit by bit, I realized, I was like, oh, maybe it's not 100% fulfilling with anybody, right? And this was a big shock to me. I never ever thought that I would define as asexual. Like, honestly, I've always loved and stood for the asexual community, but I really didn't think it. I'm the age of 34 now. And it came as a surprise. By the way, if you are discovering your sexuality or you would like help with anything you're going through, then come and join our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/notdefining. We have regular group chats. You can get mentoring from me. We've got loads of exclusive content, and I reveal some of my most in-depth insights on there. So we would love for you to join us. So one of the distinctive elements of my asexuality, and one of the things that kind of made me realize I was somewhat on the spectrum first, was that I would have like guy days, and then I would have girl days, or guy periods and girl periods, where I'd be attracted to one or the other. And then I would have kind of both or all days where I just could be attracted to anybody. And then there would be periods of time where I just didn't feel attracted to anybody. Okay, and at first I just thought, oh, well, this is natural, like people have natural fluctuations in their libido and so on. But it became something quite regular, and I was like, this is really a thing. Like, I genuinely don't feel attraction to anyone. And it wasn't that I didn't feel like I wanted to. it was really a sense that I didn't quite connect with what attraction was. And I think this came predominantly from the fact that I can be attracted to kind of bits of masculinity or bits of men sometimes in some ways, and kind of bits of femininity or kind of bits of kind of women in some ways sometimes. And then sometimes it kind of merges in this fluid way and it gets really confusing. And then sometimes it clicks and sometimes it doesn't. And then sometimes I feel like I'm just attracted to everyone and everything. I love those days. But then it's difficult because I'm like, well, would I actually be with one person or not? Because I have this breadth. And then what happens is I just get so confused and I get into this space where I'm just like, do you know what? I don't think there's one person that I would actually want to be in a relationship with. And I don't think I understand the concept of actually being attracted to another person in and of themselves. It's more like parts and it's like fluid and it's kind of bitty. So that's where I'm kind of on the spectrum. Like I do experience attraction, but it's in a really weird way and it doesn't really kind of connect and it just kind of ends up being like meh in a way. It's very intellectual. It's very kind of like in my head and it just doesn't really like evolve into like I'm attracted to this person and I want to have sex with this person or whatever. So that's one thing. The second thing is that I identify very closely with grey sexual. So grey sexual is an identity on the ace spectrum. It kind of just means that you do experience some attraction, but it's just kind of less than most people. And I've experienced this my whole life, really. I mean, I can enjoy sexual, sensual interaction. I can feel attracted to people. I can enjoy sexual pleasure, but I'm just not always that bothered. Like, and it's kind of weird, I think, for a lot of like men, young men, for example, who are kind of like slavishly searching for sex. You know, it's like everything to them. You know, they go out on a night out, they want to pull. Yeah, they want to get lucky. Yeah, they want to get laid or whatever. And if ever you do, it's this kind of mad thing that everyone's talking about. It's like, wow, this is fantastic. Yay. Like, and so much of our culture is based around this universally positive experience of having sex like it's the best thing in the world. And I'm like, yeah, it's a thing. Like, you know, I get it. It's enjoyable. But is it the be all and end all? Like, is it really something that I'm going to go out of my way? You know, and so I really just feel like I could take it or leave it. And so when I discovered the term grey sexual, I was like, yes. And what's specific about me is that I really enjoy connection. I love intimacy. I love hugging. I love spooning. I love hugs. I love the feel of somebody else. I love being in love. I love all the things around sex. And I do love sexual. I mean, I do. And when it happens, it's beautiful. It's amazing and have great experiences. But I can't get away from the feeling that if given the choice, I'd probably just like have a snuggle on the sofa. Do you know what I mean? Or like, you know, it's never me instigating it. Another identity that I connect with very strongly is what we call fray sexual. And look, you don't need to go into all of these words, take them or leave them, but they're helpful for kind of validating you if you're going through this. It's that I would experience attraction and then very, very quickly I would lose interest. And it happened so regularly. with women, with men, with people of all genders and types. You know, even people who were like stunningly attractive, you know, and I would just lose feelings for them. I'd just like lose interest, and I'd just be like, and I wasn't losing interest in them. The love was there, the affection was there, the intimacy was there, but it's just like, it was weird. And I thought it was because of my bisexuality, you know, that I have different energies inside me, and that, you know, but I realized recently I don't think it is. And I guess the final thing that I would say is, I connect with an identity which is called Asexual. I think that's how it's pronounced. And this is really getting into the minds here, but it helps me to know that there are other people out there like that. And Asexual is somebody who has an element of asexuality as a result of some kind of trauma. And this is something that I have experienced. I have experienced a lot of sexual trauma in my life, a lot of kind of quite horrid experiences, really awful experiences. I would kind of use intimacy to try and kind of block my pain, and I would get into some really like destructive like situations. I have also suffered from physical abuse, sexual abuse, and I live with PTSD and OCD and other kind of anxiety disorders. And all of this kind of goes into the mix, and means I'm a person who I kind of don't really connect very well with other people, and I get very, very self-conscious about my sexuality. I get very, very obsessive. I overthink it. I over-intellectualize it. I get very, very anxious, and I have physical kind of feelings where I'm like, oh, I can't connect with people. Like I don't want a relationship, and I can't. So these things have actually kind of, I think, created in me just a block, and maybe that will change, maybe it won't, but suffice to say that for those reasons I very much connect with my asexual identity. If this has spoken to you, if this relates with you or connects with you in any way, I would love to know. Please let me know. And if you would like to hear more about the bi and the ace kind of dynamic when they come together, check out this video. And if you would like to know more about sexuality and finding out how you can find your own best self, then check out this video. Thank you for listening. I love you so much, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.